Oh, hey there! I am so excited as usual to teach you today. Yesterday, we started off by rounding numbers that went all the way up to 100. And we knew that after that lesson that all of our friendly numbers end with 0. So when we rounded with those numbers up to 100, we always rounded to a friendly number. Say friendly number. So friendly, so nice, so easy to add. All right, so now today we're going to finish rounding, okay? We're going to keep practicing. But today we're going to round hundreds. I know, right? Whoa! Up to 1,000, okay? So all of the hundreds, we're going to practice rounding. And even now when we round with hundreds, we're going to round to friendly numbers, okay? Now, let's practice counting by 100s. So friendly, so happy, so friendly. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Now let's take it back. 1,000. 900, 800, 700, 600, 500, 400, 300, 200, 100, and stop. Wasn't that fun? Alright, so now that we practiced warming up by counting by 100s and counting backwards by 100s, you guys are ready for today's lesson. Alright, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Good. Now, I have some new steps for us today. Yesterday, when I asked you the question about rounding, I asked you which number it was closer to. Today, I'm going to give you steps to follow so that you always know, even if you don't have a hundreds chart or a number line or anything like that to help you. You will know by looking at the number. Okay, here goes the steps. Number 1. When we are rounding, we need to underline the place, which can be ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, whatever place we're rounding. We need to underline that digit that's being rounded. Okay, number 2, we need to look right next door. So that means we need to look at the number that's right, the number that's on the right side of that place that we're rounding. Number 3, this is what we need to put in our brains, okay? When I tell you to lock it in your brain, you're going to lock it. 5 or more, raise the score. Remember I told you that yesterday? Say 5 or more, raise the score. When I say raise the score, I mean we need to round up. Up, 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 up. Number 4, 4 or less, give it a rest. Okay? Say 4 or less, give it a rest. Child, that means that the underlined number is going to stay the same. We're not going to round down. Well, that means that the underlined number just stays the same. Okay? Now, I want you to lock it in your brain. Round it. Here it says round to the nearest 100. Here's my number, 239. 239. Okay? Now, I underline the hundreds place because that's where I'm rounding to. I'm rounding to the nearest 100. Now, I look right next door. That's step number 2. The number right next door. Oh, hey, neighbor. I see it's 3. Now, it says if it's 5 or more, I raise the score. I'm going to round up 100. But if it's 4 or less, I'm going to give it a rest, and it's going to stay the same. So this is 4 or less. This is less than 4, so I'm going to give it a rest. Okay? And the underlined number is going to stay the same. Step 5. All the numbers to the right change to 0. So I'm rounding to the nearest 100. I get 200. All right, now let's do some practice together. Okay, number 1. 178. I'm going to follow all of the steps exactly, okay? I look at the place being rounded. I'm rounding to the nearest 100. Okay, I'm going to underline my 100. Okay, now I look right next door to 7. Okay, is it 5 or more, or is it 4 or less? This is definitely more than 5. So I'm going to raise the score, round it up. So I'm going to round up my 100, and my next 100 is 200. All right, now let's do number 2. Okay, I'm going to underline my digit being rounded, which is my hundreds. Now look right next door. 5 or more, raise the score, or 4 or less, give it a rest. It's definitely less than 4, so I'm going to give it a rest, and this is going to stay the same. I'm going to round to the nearest hundred, 600. Now number 3, underline my digit that I'm rounding. Underline my, ooh, you missed it. All right, now let's look right next door. Is it 5 or more, or is it 4 or less? It's definitely 5 or more. It's more than 5. So 5 or more, raise the score. So I'm going to go round up in my hundreds. My next 100 is 4. Round up to 400. Now number 4. What's my digit I'm rounding? It's 200. Okay, let's see if we're going to round up in the hundreds place or if it's going to stay the same. All right, next door, 5 or more or 4 or less? Yes, 5 or more. So I'm going to raise the score to 300. I go up in my hundreds place. Number 5, underline my digit being rounded. Look next door. Is this 5 or more or 4 or less? Good. 4 or less, give it a rest. So it's going to stay the same. 500. This is the nearest 500. I'm sorry, this is the nearest 100. 500. All right, underline my digit being rounded. I'm rounding to the hundreds place. Now, look next door. Is this 5 or more or 4 or less? It's definitely less than 4. So I'm going to give it a rest. Give it a rest, child. And it's going to stay the same, 700. All right, now 2 more. Say 2 more. Oh, here is the secret word. You ready? Grapes. All right, number 7. Now, underline my digit being rounded. Look next door. 5 or more or 4 or less? 5 or more, raise the score. I'm going to round up the next 100. Here goes our last one. No, you're going to leave me. All right. Underline my digit being rounded, the hundreds place. Look right next door. Hey, neighbor. Is my neighbor 5 or more or 4 or less? Definitely 5 or more. So am I going to raise the score? I sure am. So I'm going to round up. Wait a minute. If I round up, what comes after 900? If I'm counting by hundreds, after 900, I get what? Let me see. 800, 900, 1,000. Woo! Throw a party. We got 1,000. All right, friends. Now, remember the trick. When you have your exit ticket today, follow these steps. If you need to, go ahead and screenshot, take a picture so that you can follow these steps when you're doing your exit ticket, okay? All right, have fun. Bye-bye.